Hey everybody, it's JD Simo coming at you from my basement, the house of Grease. Hope everybody's doing good. Beautiful spring day here. Spent the last couple of days doing tons of spring cleaning. My wife is a much better deep cleaner than I am. Of the two of us, we've been together a long time. My wife and I, my beautiful wife. I'm the one that sort of will make things look nice, but when you get into it, you're like, wait a minute, this needs to be really cleaned. And my wife is much better at like really getting it. So I've done a pretty honorable job these last couple of days, I gotta say. Been getting ready. Got a fun week of sessions coming up. We got Jawan from New Orleans, one of the Mardi Gras chiefs, is coming here to make a record, and that's going to be a really fun week here. I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway, I got a couple of things I wanted to talk about that are on my mind. The first thing I want to talk about is the other day I went up to Madison, Tennessee, which is just past East Nashville, for those that don't live in the 615. Went up to see my buddy Wade Cofer and his beautiful family. He's got a beautiful wife and little boy. Talked a lot about family stuff, and he was at one point the head of the repair department at Carter Vintage, and now he works out of his own shop at his place. And Wade is as good as they come. Sweetheart of a guy, and a really awesome builder, and just all around. I mean, he's one of the gifted ones, and I mean, we're so spoiled here in Nashville, but he's definitely one of the top dogs, in my humble opinion, at least. And anyway, this guitar, this is actually the first guitar he ever built. And I've been using this for like the last year, at least. So you guys might have seen me use this before, but in any rate, let me plug it in. I love this instrument. This thing has served me very well. I've got it tuned down to B. It's a lovely, like, as deep and guttural as it is, it's not tubby. And he made these pickups too. He's real obsessed specifically. I mean, he's got a lot of things he's into, as we all do, but he loves all sorts of Japanese instruments from the 60s. And a lot of his designs incorporate stuff from that era, and those kind of designs where it's like, it's very familiar, but it's like not a complete, like copy of something that already existed. He's really good at that. Anyway, I love this instrument. I've used it a bunch. It's got a whole bunch of different sounds in it. Anyway, but I've got this thing that he just built, and sometimes he makes sort of T-style inspired instruments. This is really cool. It's a mahogany body with a quarter saw neck, and it's got a snake headstock. And I don't know, we were talking about this. I love the snake headstock. Just awesome. And these are actually like humbuckers. And this is a real fat sounding instrument. though it's a quarter saw neck, it's got a good amount of wiggle. I just love, and the notes hang around for a long time. Especially like with slide, I'll put a little bit of reverb on. I mean, it's just got a ton of natural, like, it's just like a tuning fork. Anyway, and I love, like I said, the fatness of this instrument. I think because it's mahogany, it's sort of things I would use my ES5 for, which really, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's like between the other guitar that Wade built that I have in the baritone tuning, you know, that and my Danacaster and my ES5, that's kind of the only instruments I really use and travel with, and, you know, to play live with, playing records, all that kind of stuff. I tend to only use those three, but this thing is, I'm really digging it. It's just hanging. Anyway, and then the other thing is, I thought I didn't grab it. I grabbed one of my blue chips, but he's making these real deal picks that they're pretty stiff. I mean, he made one in a normal pick size because that's what I'm used to, but he'll make little ones too. And I think he's gonna do like limited runs of these, and these are really worth it because, like, God, they sound good and they feel good. Anyway, so it's at Wade Cofer, sorry, Cofer. Check him out. He's on Instagram. These picks are really dope, and the guitars are really inspiring and cool. So anyway, something I wanted to talk about that I've gotten into heavy with my friend Barry at XTS is people ask me often, because I sort of go back and forth between having a pedal tuner on my pedal board or whatever couple of pedals I'm using at the time, and I use headstock tuners a lot. I've got a bunch of these TCs because they're really good. The Peterson one's really good. I get a Peterson one over there. But people have asked me, and about a month ago or whatever, when I did a little rig rundown thing when we were out on tour, somebody was asking me about the turbo tuner that I tend to use if I'm going to use one. And so, okay, I did sort of a comparison down here because it's been driving me crazy for a while now, where I've thought that I've heard like the sound drastically kind of change whenever a tuner is in line, but I've never like fully investigated it. And so I finally did. I took because I have like every tuner that is made in one form or another, and I actually like put them side by side for real, because up to this point I had thought that the turbo tuner that I forget the company that makes the turbo tuner. Somebody will know, and I'll probably remember in a minute. But I thought that was kind of the least offensive. Anyway, it turns out that even the turbo tuners, the small and the big one, and basically like the TC Electronics Polytune, the Peterson, the newer Peterson, and certainly any Boss one because of the buffer in it, it kind of drives me crazy because the sound goes from like this to like this. It cuts off noticeably. All of them do this. Noticeably cut off low end and low mid, and to a certain extent kind of compress the whole thing and make it a little smaller sounding. It changes the feel slightly. And the biggest thing that I noticed, being that I play slide so much, is it sort of clamps down, if you will, on sort of high, not quite high end, more high mid, like, you know, like between 1 and 2K. I'm getting really technical and I'm sorry and I apologize. But like when I'm trying to get notes to sort of catch where they'll sustain for a long time on slide, it definitely affects stuff in that range. And I thought I was crazy all this time, but like I sat here in the studio and I was able to like see for real, like, wow, this is a real thing. And they all do it. So I called Barry, and I've called Barry multiple times about stuff of this sort of crazy nature. And Barry, in typical, you know, very matter-of-fact scientific fashion, he was like, well, he's like, he was intrigued, and he's like, let's figure it out. And so we did a blind test, and I was able to identify when the tuner was in line the majority of the time. I think I only missed once, and which is impressive because, as Barry says, when you're trying to identify a problem or a potential problem, you have to be able to identify it 50% of the time for it to be real. And I did, like I said, I forget how many rounds I thought we did 3 rounds of 3, but I think in any rate, I only missed once where I wasn't able to identify that, oh, the tuner is in line and it's changing the sound. So we're on the path of figuring out, when I say we, I mean, it's really Barry. We have some concepts he has some concepts of what he thinks it is that's doing that. In the meantime, he's making me a little box to essentially take the tuner out of the equation. And I'm excited about that because that's at least going to give me relief and be able, because the reality of the situation is I love using these. Okay. I love them. They're simple. They don't change the sound. It's easy enough. But in reality, the majority of the time that I am working on other people's records and playing on records for other people, it's a practical thing. I need a floor tuner that's really great. You know what I mean? So, in any rate, we're getting to the bottom of it, and I'm excited to see how it shapes up. So, has anybody else out there heard or experienced this? I've checked with multiple peers of mine and been able to see that I am not the only one, at least in my peer group, but we'll see. We're working on a solution. God bless Barry. So, at any rate, I hope you're all well, and look forward to catching up with you again here soon. Maybe I'll do a check-in while we're making this record with Jawan this week, because there's going to be some really incredible musicians that are a part of it, and Jawan is awesome. So, anyway, much love. Grab some ticks. We're going back out on the road next month. Hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and yeah, I don't know. Enjoy your Sunday. Much love and peace. I'll catch you later.